It all began the day the weathered old sailor came to the Admiral Benbow Inn, an out-of-the-way lodging situated on the coast of England. Jim Hawkins, the son of the Admiral Benbow's owners, first saw the stranger coming and called out, "Father, there's a traveler coming up the road." As the man drew closer, Jim noticed the scar of a saber cut across one cheek. The man nodded with satisfaction at the wide, unobstructed views of the road and the coastline, and within minutes he had arranged for lodging.
"Just call me Captain,"
he told the Hawkins family, and he threw down some gold pieces with a careless air.
"When I've spent these, you tell me, and there'll be more."
And he closed his door. After that he spent his days on the nearby cliffs, looking up and down the coast through a brass telescope. Most nights found him in the public room of the Admiral Benbow, his face in the shadow, his back to the wall, his great sword at his side. He would order rum and water, and more rum and water, and hardly another word would he say for hours. Then the rum would stir a fire in him, and he would slap his hand loudly on the table and bully everyone else into singing sailors' songs with him. In particular, he favored one song.
15 men on the dead man's chest, yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum. Drink and the devil had done for the rest, yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum.
That one ended with the frightening lines, "With just one man of her crew alive, what put to sea with 75. Some nights the captain would regale one and all with dark tales of distant lands, battles at sea, and violent deeds. And oddly enough, business actually increased at the inn, for the locals could feel they'd been off on some great adventures without actually traveling any farther than the Admiral Benbow. The captain's sober was frightening enough. Often Jim Hawkins's father could not get the money owed him by the inn's frightening guest, and the financial worry contributed to Mr. Hawkins's declining health. Jim managed to get them a little money from the old mariner.
"This is for keeping your eyes open, lad. If you see any strangers in the neighborhood, especially sailors, you're to let the old captain know at once. And most particular, you're to keep your eyes open for a one-legged man. If you see any such, slip away to me at once. At once, do you hear?"
One day, the local physician, Dr. Livesey, looked in on Mr. Hawkins, and then entered the public room of the inn for some dinner. A few minutes later, the captain slapped his hand loudly on the table to silence everyone else. Only Dr. Livesey continued to speak to his neighbor. The captain roared, "Silence there!" The doctor calmly replied, "Sir, I have no wish to stop my conversation. However, I will interrupt it long enough to tell you that if you continue to drink rum after rum, as I have observed you doing this evening, you will soon be dead." The captain lurched to his feet and drew a long-bladed knife, at which point the doctor went on, "And if you do not put away that knife at once, in my capacity as a local officer, I shall see you hanged within a month." And to everyone's astonishment, the captain sat back down, put his knife away, and said not another word all night. A few weeks later, while Jim's mother was tending her sick husband, the inn door opened, and Jim saw a sailor entering. Jim was relieved to see it was not the one-legged man, although the man was missing 2 fingers off one hand, and wore a cutlass, the broad-bladed, slightly curved sword favored at sea.
"Good day, lad,"
he smiled.
"I'm looking for an old shipmate of mine named Bill. Is he here? No? Well, he might be called Captain instead. Big man with a saber cut across his right cheek. Ah, I see by your face that you know him. Well, where can I find Bill?"
"The captain is down by the cove, sir, but he should be back soon. You're welcome to wait. Can I get you something?"
"Maybe when Bill gets here,"
muttered the stranger. Just then they heard footsteps outside, and the stranger grabbed Jim's arm and drew them both behind the door. In walked the captain, and he took a few steps into the room when the stranger closed the door, released Jim, and said,
"Bill,
The captain whirled around, his sword in his hand.
"Black Dog,"
he said.
"Aye, Black Dog, your old shipmate and friend. Lad, bring us some rum."
While Jim was getting the drinks, however, there was a sudden shout and a loud crash. Jim ran back in, and he saw Black Dog, blood streaming from his shoulder, running full speed to the door, with the captain, his sword drawn, in full pursuit. Black Dog dashed up the road, and the captain stopped in the doorway and gasped,
"Rum!"
But before Jim could move, the captain collapsed. Jim ran first for his mother and then for Dr. Livesey. "He has suffered a stroke," said the physician, looking down with distaste at the sailor who now lay in his bed. "Billy Bones," muttered Livesey, reading one of the tattoos on the brawny arms. "That is the name of a notorious buccaneer." The sailor said,
"That's not my name."
"Well, whoever you are, I warned you about rum. One more drink may be your last, and no moving around for at least a week." But after the doctor left, the sailor told Jim,
"A week of rest. Black Dog will be back with the others afore then, and there's only one kind of rest they'll want to send me to. They'll give me the black spot, for sure. I've been a-saving these 20 years, when they all run through their shares like fools, and now they want what's mine. But Flint hisself gave it to me when he lay dying in Savannah, 'cause I was his first mate. Now, no one else knows what it is. But Jim, you'll warn me if Black Dog comes back, won't you? Or the one-legged man? Watch out for the one-legged man, Jim."
and he drifted into unconsciousness. For more titles from Jim Weiss and Well-Trained Mind Press, please visit us at jimweiss.com or welltrainedmind.com. Thank you for listening.